Hi, I'm Todd Jones. I'm the host of the podcast Press Box Access. Here's a clip from my interview with Malcom Moran. Malcom takes us into the clubhouse of the Bronx Zoo, New York Yankees.
So you get hired full-time by Newsday in 1977. You're a couple years out of Fordham, where you graduated from. And you're doing a little bit of everything, right? You're doing high schools, you're doing some college, you're doing some pros. And I think you were even covering some of the New York Yankees of those late 70s, right? You're around the ballpark some?
Yes, I would fill in on the occasional road trip. I would be an extra guy, a sidebar guy for certain home games.
And this is the late 70s. We're talking George Steinbrenner, the owner, Billy Martin, the manager.
The Bronx Zoo.
Right, the Bronx Zoo.
It was the Bronx Zoo era.
Reggie
yes.
Jackson, Thurman Munson, all these characters. For a young sports writer who grew up in New York, what kind of indoctrination was that for you to be around the Bronx Zoo?
It was terrorizing, really, because I knew, like when I was on a road trip, when I was by myself, I'm competing with people on that beat that had been on the beat almost as long as I was alive. And every day when you would go to the ballpark, you knew that there was a very good chance that today's game might become the last priority on what you're going to be reporting and writing about today or tonight.
Because somebody's going to do something. Somebody's going to say something. Who knows?
Right. Something's going to happen. Now, in hindsight, the thing that did make it a lot more fun than it felt at the time was the access was so good. Like, you would travel with the ball club. You would fly on the same flight, whether it was charter or commercial. You would ride the bus from the airport to the hotel or from the hotel to the ballpark. I mean, you would hear when Fred Stanley, nicknamed Chicken, would carry a boombox on the bus and play Take This Job and Shove It by Johnny Paycheck, and they're all laughing in the back of the bus. Like, you had access to that.
Right.
Or when Catfish Hunter, God rest his soul, and Lou Pinella would go back and forth relentlessly. and in which later on, when Catfish became seriously ill and passed away, I knew because of those experiences, when I was assigned to write about it, the first person I needed was Lou.
Right. Because
this would hit him, it hit a lot of people hard, but it would hit him even harder.
And you had...
But there was one ride, there was a rain out on the 4th of July at Fenway, and they're going to be chartering from Boston to Dallas. They're going to be playing the Rangers tomorrow night. And the year before, Hunter had a disastrous outing. I mean, it was like a third of an inning or 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs, 3 home runs. I mean, you watch this and you think this guy's got to be hurt. What's going on? Well, now it's a year later and things are under control. And this bus in the rain is going through Kenmore Square. And Pinella is pretending to be yelling out the window, although the windows are all closed. Basically, he's alerting the population that it's safe to come out now. Catfish Hunter is leaving town. And we're not going to have these rockets going over Lansdowne Street out into Kenmore Square. And he is not letting go of this. And everybody on the bus is laughing. And finally it gets quiet. And Catfish, in his understated way, said something. And for our purposes, I have to eliminate certain words here. For the children that may be listening, Catfish basically suggested, well, if you're playing left field, they might as well go over the fence because you're not going to know what to do with it anyway. And so you had access to all those dynamics.
And there were rockets going off everywhere. You had Reggie Jackson, right? So you have Reggie, and you have Billy Martin, and you have George. Just that trio.
It was
of
the ultimate combustible mix. And I learned the hard way how combustible it was when Reggie had been coming off of a suspension, a club suspension, after he had been given a bunt sign the previous week and apparently was insulted that he signed a 5-year, $2.93 million contract to be asked to bunt late in a game. And so when the bunt sign comes off, he continues to bunt, which the manager did not appreciate. And this is on top of the ongoing tension that had been going on between those two